She called the cops and screamed, "He destroyed HOA property. Arrest him right now!" The drone was still spinning on my driveway, one broken wing twitching like it was alive. I hadn't even touched it. It crashed on its own, right after hovering over my daughter's bedroom window. Karen stood across the street with her phone out, recording me like I was some criminal. "You assaulted community equipment," she said, pointing at the drone. "That's a federal offense." I looked at the yellow tape she had wrapped around it. HOA property. Official use only. It almost made me laugh, but my daughter was behind me, shaking. "I didn't damage anything," I said calmly. "It flew into my house." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "This neighborhood has rules. You don't get to hide things from the board." "Hide things?" Before I could respond, 2 police cars pulled up. "Not security, real cops." Karen waved at them like she owned them. "That's him. He attacked our surveillance drone." Surveillance. One officer looked at me. "Sir, is this your property?" "Yes," I said. "Every inch of it." Karen cut in fast. "The HOA approved aerial monitoring last month. He signed the agreement when he bought the house." I didn't answer right away. I just stared at her. She thought I was nervous. I wasn't. The officer turned to me again. "Did you strike the drone?" "No," I said, "but I did save the footage." Karen's smile dropped for half a second, then came back stronger. "Footage? That drone records directly to the HOA cloud." I shook my head slowly. "Not just that footage." The officer looked confused. "What do you mean?" I glanced up at the small black camera above my garage. "I mean my footage." Karen's face went pale, because what she didn't know was that I installed full perimeter recording the day I moved in. Motion tracking, audio, night vision, and what it captured this morning wasn't just a drone crash. It captured who was controlling it. "I didn't fight for this country to be watched in my own driveway," I said quietly. Karen laughed nervously. "You were never in the military." I held her eyes. "I never said I wasn't." Karen crossed her arms like she had already won. "This is harassment," she told the officers. "He's trying to scare the board with fake threats." One cop looked at the drone, then at the cracked siding near my daughter's window. "Ma'am, why was this flying that close to his house?" "It's routine monitoring," she snapped. "We check roof conditions, lawn compliance, exterior violations." "Through a child's bedroom window?" I asked softly. She ignored me. "He struck it with something. Maybe a stick. Maybe a firearm. He's unstable." My daughter squeezed my hand tighter. The officer turned to me again. "Sir, you said you have footage?" "Every second," I replied. "Including the part where the drone stops over my daughter's window for almost 2 minutes. Karen's voice got sharp. "That's a lie." I pulled my phone out and opened the app. The live feed from my security system popped up. I didn't show them everything. Not yet, just enough. The drone hovering, zooming, tilting, then jerking. Suddenly, like someone panicked. The officer leaned closer. "Can you rewind?" I slid the timeline back. There it was. Clear audio, too. Karen's voice. "Zoom in more. I want to see what he's hiding in that back room." The street went quiet. Karen stepped back. "That's edited. He manipulated it." I looked at her. "You were standing right there with a controller." One officer slowly turned toward her. "Ma'am, were you operating the drone?" She tried to recover fast. "The HOA hired a contractor. I was supervising." "Then why does the audio say you were controlling Zoom?" Her lips parted, but nothing came out. That's when her phone rang. She glanced at it and instantly looked worried. I saw the name flash on her screen before she flipped it over. Mark Reynolds, HOA attorney. She declined the call. The second officer folded his arms. "Ma'am, we're going to need that controller." Karen laughed again, but this time it sounded forced. "You can't seize HOA property without a warrant." I stepped aside and pointed toward the sidewalk. "Actually, you can if it was used to commit unlawful surveillance." Karen's head snapped toward me. "You don't know the law." I looked straight at her. "I used to enforce it." The officers exchanged a glance, and that's when one of them asked the question Karen wasn't ready for. "Sir, what department did you serve with?" The street felt smaller when he asked that. Karen tried to laugh again, but it came out dry. "He's bluffing," she said fast. "He's trying to intimidate the board." I didn't look at her. I kept my eyes on the officer. County Sheriff's Office, 12 years. Digital Crimes and Surveillance Division. Badge 4172. Silence. The older officer's face changed. You're Daniel Reyes? I nodded once. Karen's shoulders stiffened. That means nothing. He resigned. I retired, I corrected her, after leading 3 illegal surveillance prosecutions, including one against a private security firm that thought HOA rules were above state law. The younger officer slowly turned toward Karen. Ma'am, do you have documentation showing homeowners approved aerial surveillance with recorded consent? She opened her mouth, then closed it. It was discussed in a meeting. Recorded vote? He asked. No, but... And written consent from each homeowner for recording private windows? Her eyes darted toward the broken drone like it could save her. I stepped closer to my driveway camera and tapped my phone again. You want amazing? Watch this. I pulled up another clip. Same morning. Different angle. Karen standing behind her SUV before launch, holding the controller, laughing. And then her voice again. If he complains, we'll fine him until he moves. The officer looked at her slowly. Is that your voice? She swallowed. It's out of context. It's very clear context, I said quietly. The younger officer picked up the drone carefully. This crossed property lines. Recorded a minor's bedroom. No warrant. No consent. Karen's mask cracked. You don't understand. He refused to take down that flagpole. He thinks he's above the HOA. I shook my head. No, I just know my rights. The older officer stepped closer to her. Ma'am, impersonating lawful authority and conducting unlawful surveillance are serious charges. Karen backed up. You can't arrest me. I'm HOA president. And that was the moment. The officer reached gently for her wrists. Not anymore. Her phone slipped from her hand and hit the pavement. The screen lit up from the fall. An email notification popped up. Subject line, emergency board removal vote, effective immediately. The younger officer looked at it, then at me. Seems like someone saw the footage already. I gave a small nod. The live backup uploads to 3 places. Karen's face went pale. You sent it to the board? And the HOA attorney? I replied. 5 minutes before you called the cops. She stared at me like she finally understood. This was never about a drone. It was about control. As they read her rights, I bent down and picked up the broken drone. One wing cracked, camera still blinking. I held it up slightly and said, calm and steady. You flew into the wrong house. And for the first time since I moved into this neighborhood, the street felt free. Karen didn't look powerful anymore. As they led her to the patrol car, she looked small, angry, exposed. Neighbors who had been peeking through curtains slowly stepped outside. No one defended her. No one clapped either. They just watched the truth settle in. The older officer handed me a card. We'll need your full footage for evidence. You'll have it, I said, already backed up. My daughter finally let go of my hand. Dad, are we in trouble? I knelt down in front of her. No, we were never in trouble. The tow truck that Karen had secretly called earlier to remove. My truck rolled up at the corner. The driver stepped out confused. HOA said this vehicle was in violation. The younger officer pointed toward Karen in the back seat. You might want to cancel that order. The driver tipped his hat at me. Sorry about that. I gave him a small smile. Not your fault. By sunset, the neighborhood group chat was exploding. People were sharing screenshots of the footage. Other homeowners started posting their own stories, fines for fake violations, threats, letters slipped under doors. It wasn't just me. It never was. That night, the vice president of the HOA knocked on my door. No attitude. No clipboard. Just quiet. We didn't know she was doing this, he said. We trusted her. I looked at him for a long second. Power without limits always shows its true face. He nodded slowly. The board voted. Surveillance program is terminated. All fines issued under her authority are void, and we'd like you to help rewrite the bylaws. I almost laughed. You tried to sue me this morning, and you proved we were wrong. A week later, the charges became public. Unlawful surveillance, filing a false police report, misuse of HOA funds. The same people she used to scare now avoided her name. The lawsuit she filed against me? Withdrawn. The HOA's insurance even covered the small damage to my siding from the drone crash. Official apology letter, signed by the entire board. One evening, I stood in my driveway as the sun went down. The flag on my pole moved gently in the wind. No drone in the sky. No camera watching my windows. My daughter came outside with 2 popsicles. She handed me one. "Are they allowed to spy on us anymore?" she asked. I shook my head. "No one is allowed to spy on you on your own land." She smiled, relieved. Across the street, neighbors waved. One of them shouted, "Guess the HOA learned something." I looked around at the quiet street. The homes? The families. They didn't just learn something, I said softly. They remembered something. This is America. You don't lose your freedom at the edge of your driveway. And sometimes, the person they try to control is the one who reminds them of that.